Hi, my name is Risha Japuri, and my presentation is on food insecurity and the impacts it has on childhood development and academic performance. So, some background. Food insecurity is the lack of consistent access to enough nutritional food for an active and healthy life. It's often caused by poverty, unemployment, and limited access to affordable groceries. It affects millions globally, over 735 million people as of 2023, and in the US alone, more than 44 million people, including 1 in 5 children, experience food insecurity. This issue has far reaching impacts. It leads to malnutrition, worsens chronic health conditions, it stunts childhood development, and it lowers academic performance. Beyond individuals, it also strains the public health systems and weakens economic productivity, making food insecurity a critical and deeply rooted societal challenge. So, the first statistical question is there a significant association between household food security levels and the risk of childhood development delays? For this, I'm using a chi-square test of independence. This is the data I'm using. It's the worst physical and mental health among students experiencing food insecurity. So, my null hypothesis is that there's no association between food insecurity and developmental risk. My alternate hypothesis is that there is an association between food insecurity and developmental risk. This is the table that I'm using for my data. So, some assumptions. Random sampling is used. The children in the study were selected from a large nationally representative survey, the CDC Children's Health Watch, which supports the assumption of random independent sampling. Also, all expected counts, based on the total delay rate of approximately 18.3%, are above 5. The expected count of the first one is 3,660. The second one is 2,745, and the third one is 1,193. There's also independence of observations. Each child is only counted once, and their outcome is independent from others. So this is the formula we used. We got the expected count for the first one as 3,674. For the second is 2,756, and the third one as 1,198. So we got our x squared as 303.3, our degrees of freedom as 2, and our p-value as 0.001 after inputting all of this into the calculator. So because our p-value 0.001 is less than 0.05, our significance level, we reject HO. We have convincing evidence that there is an association between food insecurity and the likelihood of developmental delays in children under the age of 4. Children from households with less food security are more likely to be at risk for delays, especially in cognitive and behavioral development. Our second statistical question is there a significant difference in GPA between food secure and food insecure college students? For this question, we're using a two-sample t-test for difference in means. So the data I'm using is the comparison of GPA distribution for students by hunger status. So my null hypothesis is that mu1 equals mu2. There's no difference in GPA between food secure and food insecure college students. My alternate hypothesis is that mu1 doesn't equal mu2, and that there's a difference between in GPA between food secure and food insecure students. So for the food secure students, the mean GPA is 3.51, the standard deviation is 0.42, and the sample size is 2,100 college students. For the food insecure students, the mean GPA is 3.33, the standard deviation is 0.49, and the sample size is 900 college students. So some assumptions. Random and independent samples were used. The GPA's data comes from independent groups of students who were separately surveyed, and there is no overlap between the individuals. Approximately normal distributions were used. Each group has sample sizes greater than 30, so the central limit theorem applies. This is the formula we used, and after inputting all the information into the calculator, we got that the standard error is 0.0187. Our t statistic is 9.63. Our degrees of freedom is 1300, and our p-value is 0.0001. So because our p-value 0.0001 is less than 0.05, our significance level, we reject the null hypothesis. We have convincing evidence that there is a difference in academic performance between food secure and food insecure college students. Food insecurity is associated with lower GPAs, and students who are food insecure perform lower than those who are food secure, which shows that hunger does have an impact on educational outcomes. So, some final reflections. This project helped me understand how statistics can be used to show effects of social issues like food insecurity. A chi-square test of independence and a two-sample t-test for difference in means were used, and they helped me to show how lack of food impacts academic performances and child development. How can we help? So we can donate to local food banks and serve in local food pantries and shelters to help out families in need. We can volunteer with nonprofits in our local community that are addressing the cause. We can also raise awareness in our local community as well. We can advocate for policy changes which fund nutritional assistance programs such as WIC. We can support local programs such as the school breakfast and lunch programs, which provide students with meals. This is my works cited page, and thank you very much for listening.